Thursday, everybody. We are in December, which means Santa Claus is on his way. I hope everybody made the list. I hope everybody was nice. I love December. It's bittersweet. It's the end of the year. It's time to go over all of the good and all of the bad that happened in the year. It's time to finish up everything that was unfinished. I certainly have a list that I want to get done. And this is a time when a lot of people say we've been thinking about it for a long time. Let's jump in. So I love this time of the year, December. Trees are up, kids are smiling, there's all these events, there's all these lights, everybody's so festive, there's sparkles and tinsel everywhere, hot chocolate, which I already had, fire. It's wonderful. I actually woke up very, very early today. I woke up at 4:30. Don't ask why, but you know, I made myself a cup of coffee and I just sat looking at the Christmas tree, thinking about the year that is behind us. And I know this is not the last time that I'm speaking to you this year, but there's so many good things that happened. You know, the biggest one, of course, is that we grew. We're a big family now. 5 attorneys are here for you, a huge support staff. Everybody's wonderful. Everybody is here for you, and we're gonna keep growing and keep doing good things for you. Now, let's talk about things that have come up last week. More importantly, sometimes people call us and say, we did the green card or the citizenship application or the removal of conditions application by ourselves, or we hired a paralegal or something, whatever, notario, prepare to do the forms for us, but we decided that we want to have an attorney at the interview. As a general rule, we do not go to interviews on other people's applications because we just don't, right? It's not our signatures, it's not our job. There are exceptions, you know, there's any rule, there are exceptions, but as a general rule, I do not like to take those cases. When an attorney is hired to do the whole case, we are responsible for the whole case. Our notice is with USCIS. They know that we represent you. We're able to communicate with them, fix if anything is necessary. We know the information that was put on the form, and we know that we asked you questions and you reviewed the form and signed it before sending out. We don't know what kind of questions were asked of you by someone else, you know, and it's a lot of work to get to the bottom of things if you're just hired for the interview, because the interview is not as simple as you may think, especially in the more complicated cases where there were issues with entry or previous presence in the United States, multiple marriages, remarrying the same person with kids. There are all these types of issues that can arise. So we do not, as a general rule, take cases that we did not do. However, of course, there are exceptions. So what do we do with the cases that we do? Let's say you came to us and we did all of the paperwork for you, and now it is time to go to an interview. First of all, any notices that you get, we get. So if you're out or you haven't received it, or you moved and the case was not forwarded on time, we'll get the mail from USCIS and we will let you know what the issue is. What the date of the interview is. Then we schedule you for a preparation session with an attorney. The majority of the work before the interview most of the time happens before you even step foot into the immigration building at 26 Federal Plaza or Jersey or Connecticut or Pennsylvania, or if we're flying somewhere. That's another important thing. Even if you're in another state, you can't hire us to go to an interview. If we did your case, you just pay travel fees for the attorney, but the appearance fee is the same as if it was in New York. You don't pay additional for that. You just cover the travel expenses for the person who's coming out there. So what do I mean by majority of the work happens before we even go to an interview? You sit down with an attorney who goes over the forms with you. Any mistakes or any things that you have forgotten to mention, or things that have come to your mind, or things that you were mistaken about and have since recollected or found information on, can be fixed at the time of the interview, and they will not be considered a lie or a misrepresentation, because we would be coming in there prepared saying, okay, I said that I wasn't detained because I misunderstood the question, but really I was detained. Number two, and this is extremely important, the attorney the second time around goes over all eligibility questions with you. Deportation, removal, arrests, proceedings, misrepresentations, unlawful presence, things that can make you ineligible for a green card. You get to discuss it with an attorney. You get to go into depth and figure out the correct answers. If you had a complicated history, most of the time we also get what's called a FOIA along with the case that we file, so that we may compare anything that's happened in the past to the current situation. Sometimes people have been in this country for 20 plus years, and there have been more than one application, and they may not recall exactly what they put on in previous applications. We can help with that. All of that is extremely important. Immigration does not forget, especially in this day and age. I will give you examples. One, they pull information from the embassy interviews. Example, you went to an interview to get a tourist visa to the United States. At the interview in an embassy 20 years ago, the officer asked you, are you married? And you said, yes, I am, and I have 3 kids, and in reality, you were not. You got to United States, and it's been 20 years, and you forgot all about that interview. Guess what? Immigration did not. And because everything is electronic, we're seeing more and more times that immigration has those records. Or the flip side, you told them you were never married, right? And then we go to an interview and the officer says, well, we have records showing that in your home country at the age of 19, you were married, and give you a name, and that has actually happened. Give you a name of the person. And then the attorney works with you to fix the issues. Sometimes it's an error and there are ways to fix it. Sometimes there's a difference in certain countries, for example, between common law and registered marriages. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just know that immigration does not forget. And here's another thing that we help you with and ask you things that can become problematic. Recently, they've been asking for years, but with a higher frequency, we have people at embassy interviews being asked whether, if they had kids in the United States a long time ago, whether the bills for the birth of the kids were paid. And if the kids were born on subsidized insurance, we have now had cases where the embassy is asking for waivers because you were not eligible for Medicaid, Medicare, or if you had bills that were left unpaid. Immigration now oftentimes has access to that, right? All of these intricacies, whatever your case is, attorney, because we have years and years of experience and we do hundreds and hundreds of cases a year, we will know things that will be asked and how to be prepared. Another thing, the attorney will go over with you the dress code, what to expect, how long the interview is going to be, typical questions that may be asked, so that you are prepared, right? We'll give you a list of documents, how to separate them, what to bring with you. We'll go over the documents with you, tell you this is necessary, this is unnecessary. So I find it highly improbable that all of this information will not be useful to you when you're going to one of the most important interviews in your life, right? And a lot of the times, not a lot of the times, actually very rarely, there are people who have such easy, straightforward cases that they say we want to go low. Fine, no problem. Yes, there are cases where we even give our blessings to. Like, yes, you specifically in your case can go alone. But very, very rarely these people go to interviews and something goes badly or something doesn't work out. And then the person calls and says, for example, if they think that an officer did not treat them fairly, or the officer did something that they were not supposed to do, or the officer did something that was an outlier, you can't then call us and tell us we want you to file a complaint, right, against an officer's conduct, because we weren't there. We can't do that. But if we are there and something happens, and it has happened in the past, where we think a supervisor needs to get involved or we need to file a complaint, we have and we will do it. But an attorney has to be with you at an interview. The attorney has to witness what has transpired, and sometimes the attorney can fix it on the spot. Sometimes a written notice is required. Sometimes it's a matter of a missing document and the attorney can speak directly to an officer and arrange for a drop-off, sometimes the same day. Sometimes there are complicated situations where an attorney can interfere, help you out with. There are a million different things. There have been cases when we thought very straightforward, people go in, they end up not doing well, they're going to need a Stokes the second time around. But if an attorney's with you, attorney's taking notes. We know how to prep you for the next interview. We know what went wrong, what went missing, what the officer didn't like, how he spoke or she spoke to you. All of those things is what we're due there, right? So that's just at the interview. And we have a huge amount of people that are our clients who honestly just feel protected, they feel relaxed, and they just feel like the process goes easier when they have somebody in their corner. And let's say we've prepped you, and that's a huge part of why you retain an attorney to go with you. It's the preparation, the knowing, right? Not knowing what's about to happen, not being prepared, that can be detrimental in and of itself. So a lot of the job happens before we're even there. And then things, when we get in there and things go smoothly, you're prepared. Things have gone smoothly. Let's say the attorney didn't have to get involved and it was a 15-minute interview. And a lot of times it is a 15-minute interview because you have all your documents, they are in proper order, you are prepared, you know what you're doing, you're more relaxed, okay? The attorney has checked you in, gone through all the things that can be worrisome to people. Why is it taking so long? Well, what do I answer here? Which line do I go into? What if I'm stuck in traffic? Like, you can't call USCIS and tell them, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. But if an attorney's there waiting for you, they have the ability to go and speak to an officer and say, this is the situation, and so on and so forth. Okay? So I think, Hugely important. If you are our client and you want us to go, you can't tell us the night before. I almost never make exceptions if you call me the night before. It's too late. We usually schedule you for a prep about 7 to 10 days out before the interview, because we give you the ability to get together anything that we have discussed, and let's say there's something missing after our first prep. During those 7 days, you can ask for a re-prep or have follow-up questions. That's why you have that interval. But if you call us less than 24 hours in advance, there is disadvantage to us. You understand? We might be fully booked the following day. We do have a lot of cases, and we don't stay after hours. We have the same hours as you do. We work from 9 to 6 and 9 to 4, and we are adhering very strictly to that schedule. That is meant to give everybody a structured schedule and to give the people who work with you the ability to have a work-life balance, so that they are better emotionally and physically and psychologically prepared to be with you. Exhausted attorney is not a good attorney, let me tell you. If you're talking to somebody at 11:30 at night after a 12-hour day, there's no way their brain is where it's supposed to be at the time. It's just physically not possible, okay? So you have to make your best judgments. You know, just because somebody's open at 9:30 p.m. doesn't mean that that's the choice that you need to be making. These are important things. Your citizenship is an important interview. Oh, do not make a mistake of treating it as, oh, they're gonna give it to me. No, we've seen multiple cases when people have treated immigration that way and therefore then suffered the consequences, or experienced consequences. You gotta give us time, right? It is there for you, it is there for us, but ultimately, if you come to us when we tell you, that will serve the best purpose and it will help you the most. Okie dokie. That's it. Oh, completely forgot. There's no reform. Nothing has been passed. There's no free money. There is no citizenships. There's no free green cards. There's been a lot of changes, but there hasn't been anything fundamental yet. Go to multiple people. Speak to more than one person. A lot of people are being misled. Okay, there has been a lot of changes, but there hasn't been something that just wiped the slate clean for 11 million people. That has not happened, and I don't think that specifically will happen. I believe truly that some sort of reform will come out of it, but I don't think it's going to be a wiped clean slate that's just going to give everybody the ability to move forward. Immigration is the second most complicated area of law in United States. It is second only to a tax code, the IRS tax code, which scares people even more than immigration. But there are multiple issues, there are multiple things, there are multiple questions that need to be answered. So let's stay tuned and see which one of those questions they're going to want to tackle, hopefully soon. Okay? I will be back next Thursday. If anything is going to be in the news between now and then, we will post it here on our website, on all of the social media, and then if anything major will happen, I will discuss it in our next video. Again, just a reminder, you have to make an appointment to come into our building and to come see us. That is for your protection, for our protection, for everybody's well-being and health. We want to make sure that all of us are healthy and able to continue to work. So just keep that in mind. And other than that, I hope you're enjoying the holiday season as I am. I hope you're getting to drink some hot chocolate with some whipped cream or hot coffee, in my case right now. And I will see you everybody in a week. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope you get to have some fun with your family this weekend. Thank you.